took away. That's what this. Get your money's worth. Now, that was it.
Joining the show here, man. We got Rashad Milligan, man. First of all, brother, thank you for joining, man. How you doing?
What's up, fellas? How y'all feeling, man?
How you doing, man? Doing well.
How you doing?
And thanks
we
for
all right.
having
We
me.
all right. Now, appreciate you pulling up, man. So I'm gonna start here. I will let this video kind of speak for itself, and then you can kind of get into your article that you wrote a couple of weeks ago, shouting us out about the Bill Simmons comments, and then I'll let the fellas or the chat kind of run things from there. But here was Kendrick Perkins once again talking a little bit about his thoughts on relocation and the fans in the city. We kind of have a history with Perk, but a stand-up brother for joining the spaces a few years ago, making it quite the moment in the midst of a season that kind of turned everything around. But since then, his tune has changed. But here was Kendrick Perkins.
And then we come back to this point of, the Pelicans, if it's an expansion, then the Pelicans might move to Vegas. Listen, let me say this. I barked up that tree before, and it was a mistake on my part, right? I said that the Pelicans, they need to just sell the franchise and relocate and do all this. And damn it, the fan base got on my heels like a pair of church socks. And I thought about it. I was wrong. The fan base down there is actually pretty damn good. They just waiting on the Pelicans to do something. Right?
Speaking of waiting, we are still waiting on a donation. I don't know if that will ever arrive from Perk, but we'll different conversation. So, Rashad, you wrote an article speaking of what Perk was mentioning. Shout out a show that we did. Shout out to Five who went on an amazing. I wouldn't even call it a rant, but about a 5-minute talking point about the viewership, the basketball love in the city, the people that watch the games, the people that are thirsty just for a good product versus them not wanting to support basketball. Can you go into why you wrote the article and your overall thoughts, whether it be about Perk or Ben Simmons, or just what you think the post is on the people in the city when it comes to basketball and the New Orleans Pelicans?
Yeah, no, for sure. So I think the first thing is I got the job at NOLA.com in last October, and I moved here in January. And like one of the things, it's so funny seeing like my outside view of the Pels and New Orleans and stuff like that, and then living here. It's like it was two completely different things. Like I tell everybody, like moving here really radicalized my like mindset about Zion Williamson. Like it was one thing I thought, and then there was a whole nother thing when I got here. I was like, oh man, like, it's crazy. It's certain things that you don't see on a national level until you come here and watch the games night to night basis. So that's the first thing. Another thing I saw this at was like with Chris Paul, like the Chris Paul press conference with the Clippers, and he had the kids and the cheerleaders, and everybody's like, this is so beautiful. He's coming back home. And I'm like, New Orleans is really disrespected. Like people were really like, just like New Orleans doesn't exist. It's just invisible on the Nationals. And I'm like, this is so crazy. The fan base here, they're extremely passionate about the Pels and basketball here just in general. And Zion's like a huge talking point. Like he's up there with the Saints in terms of like things that people around the area love to talk about. So that was one of the things why I like wrote the story. I saw that it was popping. It was kind of like the most popping topic around Pels kind of fan base and stuff like that. And other people were writing about it. So I sent it to my sports editor. I was like, should we do something with this? Because I feel like what Bill Simmons says, it like teeters the line of just conspiracy theory to like, oh, that's kind of too out there. I don't even want to give that energy or attention or time, but it's August now, what else is there to talk about? And I feel like that's the thing that Simmons is dealing with. When you have 100 days of the off season and you record twice a week or 3 times a week, like you just start making up stuff after a while. And I think that's what Bill Simmons did. And like I said, once again, the national media, they look at New Orleans as a market that's just an easy punching bag when it comes to basketball. And I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Chris or who, but y'all don't put the fear of God in some of these folks' heart, boy, these last couple of years. And these folks, man, I seen Perk. Perk said, I love Louisiana. I can fish there. And then, I'm like, dang, Perk, who talked to Perk? Like, so, I mean, to me, it was just, I don't know. I think you guys are showing the people that you guys care. It's more so a frustration with the actual organization. And I don't know. I don't know how they're going to fix it, but it's looking like, they're making the steps. Because when DeJounte goes on the pod, you know what I'm saying, and he calls out, man, we don't even have this or that. Another thing I noticed, a lot of people ain't saying this. Now, since I'm on a pod and everything like that, I want to get it all now. When Trey Murphy was on 520, Jeff Teague's podcast, what was he talking about? Teague was like, yeah, man, what was the first thing you noticed with the thing? He said, with my NBA money, I love the fact that I had Gatorade. We could get Gatorade whenever we wanted. And he said, y'all got that? And Trey was like, nah, we ain't got that. And then, I go back to think about what DeJounte was saying on the pod. He was like, this is the first organization I've been where we ain't have this or all at the same time. And I was like, dang, man, like these folks is calling out the organization publicly in these spaces and everything like that. And I feel like after getting called out, they're like, all right, y'all can't keep playing with our name like that publicly. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to tighten this up. Dumar said he's going to fix up some things. So we'll see what happens if they actually switch it up. I don't know. Y'all will know better than me of like, have they said this in the past of like, hey, guys, we're going to do better, and they never actually do better. So, yeah, that's what I want to know from y'all. But that's what I see from national media to what's going on now.
Go ahead, fellas.
Chaz, go ahead.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Firstly, where'd you move from? I'm curious.
Georgia.
Okay, shout out to Georgia, man. Shout out to Georgia. Yeah, look, I think the national media isn't totally off base, like not totally off base, and I think in context, some of the players, saying straight, I guess that only leaves one other player. So I think I think DeJounte was doing a lot of capping. I think DeJounte, he's just a bitter guy. He's tend to, if you do the knowledge, I'm sure you have. He's tend to have sour grapes in both of his previous stops. So
I was covering him the last team.
Oh, see, hey, Perk, you would know. He's tend to have some sour grapes, and and every team he's been on at this point. No disrespect to him, shout out to him. But I think just given some of the context with things we've heard behind the scenes, I think some of DeJounte's complaints probably should be taken with a grain of salt. Now, for the organization itself, organization has a lot of things they can improve upon. I think that when you hear people say sell the team, I don't think no one would disagree with that necessarily. It's the relocate part that kind of gets people up in arms, because I mean, honestly, if they were going to be an expansion, they would just add a team to Seattle, they would add a team to Vegas, and they would move the Pelicans to the East, most likely. So it's not even like a realistic scenario that one would have to consider. But I do think, them to say that they shouldn't sell or consider selling the team, period, would be a little disingenuous. But it's the move the team part that I think really has people up in arms. For us, the Trey Murphy thing, that's a good reference you made with Teague and the Gatorade thing. I don't know. Maybe they got I don't know. Like stuff like that. I'm like, I don't really know. But I do remember, was it last season that they had the Pelicans practicing in the facility with no drywall. They had a big curtain up. And
I was there, Chaz. Well, I was there for a little bit. I didn't get to finish.
I'm sure that's not passing any type of OSHA laws or anything whatsoever, but they still had them doing it. So there's a lot of things this organization can improve on, honestly.
Rashad, thanks for joining. But a question for you, since you covered obviously the Hawks, what would you say? Like, I know you've only been in New Orleans for a little bit, but like, what would you say is like the biggest difference between organizations? I guess whether it be from a media standpoint or just a basketball standpoint in general.
I say the media. Oh, first of all, I want to answer Cole's question because Cole been on my head in the chat. All right. So as you guys know, when y'all ask where I'm from, I said Georgia.
Right.
I am from Atlanta. I am from Atlanta. Hey, I come in peace. I am from Atlanta. But you know, as a journalist, I had to drop the fandom hat and just become a professional. So I come in peace. Okay, all right. Chat done turned against me. It is what it is. All right. Let's talk. Okay, so I say the difference is in Atlanta, like it's a little more media, like it's a lot of independent media and everything like that. And but it's just a lot of folks. It's like a larger media room in Atlanta, versus like what's kind of going on over here. I'm trying to think what else.
Like, how would you
Oh, go ahead.
describe? Like, how would you describe what's going on? Like, you say what's going on here. Like, what do you mean? Like, they have like a bigger media room. Like, is everything just bigger in Atlanta? Like, whether it be, that was crazy to say, but I'm just saying, like, media wise, like coverage wise, like all that kind of stuff. Is it just
No,
more people?
I
covering
wouldn't
similar
say
to
that because Zion's probably bigger than him and Trey are probably neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of like national coverage that they get, national attention that they get. So I wouldn't say that the Hawks get more attention nationally. What's happening? But it's definitely more like local media and stuff like that, I think, in Atlanta versus what it is here with the Pels. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think regardless, there is an audience for the Pels here, and there's a lot of parallels to the Pels and the Hawks, to be honest. I know I said a whole lot of nothing. That was a word salad.
Wait. Towards the end, you said there's a lot of parallels between the Hawks and the Pelicans.
Yeah.
I find that interesting. What are they?
I think Trey, he gets disrespected nationally, just like how Zion does. Like, Zion's really good. and he doesn't get that credit. Like, I remember he had a triple-double, and he had 2 triple-doubles when he's never had a triple-double in his career in the span of 2 weeks. And then Shaq was just like, I need him to do it more. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, what are you he's doing it on 25 minutes restriction. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what he's doing is not normal for a dude his size. The way he's passing the ball right now is like, but it's just dumb stuff like that, right? It's the same thing with Trey Young. Like, people were like, Trey's not really. And I'm like, what are you talking? It's like, Trey makes passes that, like, I haven't seen point guards since Steve Nash make. Like, what are we doing here? And it's like, oh, his defense. He's giving more effort defensively. Just say you haven't watched the Hawks since 2021. It's cool. Like, and I think it's the same thing here in New Orleans and stuff like that. Trey Murphy, the fact that he's kind of just non-existent unless you're like a basketball fiend on a national scale. Like, no one is talking about like how good Trey Murphy is as a basketball player outside of like the young man in the 3 crowd. You know, that's like a very specific like basketball nerd type of crowd and everything like that. So I say those are 2 things that are kind of like the parallels there. And the players. There's a lot of the same players that come through both organizations.
Hi, Key. I wanna welcome Five to the show here. Five, we spoke a little bit about the article that shouted us out and shouted you out. If you guys didn't get a chance, please go back and read Rashad's comments on his article on Ben Simmons, and go watch the show that Five spoke in detail from an educational standpoint, but also from a logic and a someone who lives in the city, someone who's from the area, and just where the disconnect is between relocation, as Chaz mentioned earlier, and the product just not living up to what it needs to be. But Five, the floor is yours. If any questions, any comments you have for Rashad, panel, go ahead.
Nah, man. Shad, what's up, bro? How you feel, man? Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the chat as well. Game, we got Cole, we got Flight Mizard, Kyle. No, I was not held up by a white woman. That's super important to let people know. But nah, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you pulling up. I've been drinking all day. I've had a day of days, not like Vegas days, Justin, but a day today. So I've had a great time. I just wanted to get your assessment on you talked about Zion and Trey and the parallels between the Hawks and the Pelicans. what do you think? And I do think those two players essentially are closely related in how they're viewed by the outside world, not like niche markets like the old men and the three, right? What do you think Zion needs to do? And I think my dog Justin has been not crying, but wanting I don't want to cry, but wanting a video from Zion like during the summer to let people know like where he is in his development, right? You know, you see the Ja Morants in China, you see Luka Doncic, and you know, in a magazine showing that hey, he's made progress from his days in Dallas. Like, why don't we get that from a Zion? How do you assess Zion in his, during his summertime?
Yeah, so Zion is someone who, like, I was covering like back in Atlanta once again, 2018 at McDonald's when he was in high school and stuff like that, and like covering him now, he's the same kid. Like, he's the same kid. Like he does like the hard posterior face every night to make himself look more serious, but you look at him and like just smile. Like, he start cracking up. He's just a goofy kid still. So I want to point that out first because I know a lot of people like, what is it going to take for him to mature to be that leader? That I'm like, maybe he's just a goofy kid. Like, some kids are just goofy, bro. Like, Anthony Edwards is goofy. Like, Ja Morant is kind of goofy a little bit. Like, some kids are just kids. That is what it is. I remember watching that clip from Justin or that part of the episode where he was like, why can't we get workout videos from him in the offseason? Like even though people might say it might not matter, like, I care about it. It does make the fans feel better. I think just like the public perception, because it's like, okay, here we go. If Instagram, right, with a woman, if a woman just posting a number, he's not a kid. I hear you, CJ. If a woman just posting a bunch of thirst traps, what they gonna say? Oh, she is so-and-so. She is so-and-so. And you could be like, bro, you don't even know her, this and that, right? That might be true, but the perception of her, what is she always posting? So it's like the same thing with Zion. It's like Zion working, Zion doing this, Zion doing that.
Pod
what
now.
is Zion posting? Zion back on the block in South Carolina. I'm like, dang, I didn't know Zion was a block kid. I thought he was a good kid. Like, he always, you know what I mean? But it's just all this stuff. Like, see, the Foles, though, I ain't gonna lie. The Foles brother always been throwing up the Foles. He was throwing that up in high school. And so I mean, that's a whole nother thing. Now the Z, that's a whole thing I ain't never seen before. But I say all this to say perception matters in 2025, whether people wanted to admit it or not. It's something that's like really silly, but perception can turn into narratives, and narratives turn into like on-court play, and on-court play turns into like how much you get paid. So all of those things are just really important. So you have to watch what you post and post, like, because the other day he posted on his Instagram stories nothing but highlights, right?
Shout
and
out
then
to
people
DJ.
was like,
Look
at his Instagram. This is amazing. And so that was it. It was just like, he's just posting his highlights, like, but people care about that stuff.
Shaq, can I ask you this? Because I know you said you covered them at McDonald's. We've covered them at Burger King. So that being said, like, in this, I think in this region, or even on a national level, I'm one of those people that think at this point, silence is almost the best case. Like, it's almost the best path forward for Zion, because it's every time you see him, just like with him, throwing up the Z's. Shout out to the Zoes. It's like every time you see him, it's like, damn, this is not looking good. Or even like when he might have a charitable, like a charity event. It's like, Zion, right? He did a dine and dash. It's always bad optics. And I think at this point, his PR team is just like, look, we just need to hide this dude until the season starts. Like, just stay out of, for a number one, for a player as high profile as he was supposed to be. He's one of the lesser visible guys. But it's just like every time we see him, it's crazy. It's like you see him in a Mountain Dew commercial, that goes bad. Then you see him in a Starry commercial, like, why you drinking soda? That goes bad. Then you see him in like, it's just like, bro, sometimes you just need to stay out the way. I think he's gotten to a point where he's like, it's better for me to just stay out the way, period. That's just my perception. Do you think, of course it's fair, he's the number one pick, but do you think that he's at a point in his career where anything he does would be received positively from the national media. Because it seems like the national media wants to root for him, but it just seems like that ditch has been dug, like at this point, for his reputation.
It all goes back to performance, man. Like everything's performance, everything is wins. Like the NBA is so kind of bipolar with that stuff. Like going back to like what were you saying with Trey? Like if the Hawks win, like how they won a couple of years ago, everybody's talking about Trey, how they were a couple of years ago. It's the same thing with Zion. LeBron James is LeBron James. He's probably the best athlete, arguably in basketball, in the history of basketball. Just speaking from a like his build, being an athlete, everything like that. He has a Sprite commercial. Like he had a Sprite endorsement for the last 25 years. Nobody said anything. He had McDonald's. Nobody said anything about LeBron. LeBron and McDonald's and Sprite. Nobody said that. Why? Because LeBron on the court, he does
Shows
what
up.
LeBron does.
Right.
So it's like it's the same thing with Zion. You win, you produce on the court, everybody shut up. And that's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's why like I know I've been talking about like the workout videos and all this other like bullshit, but like at the end of the day, that's not gonna lead to wins. It's just I'd rather just watch them, just play on the court, just play. And Chad's been saying the whole
but it
show,
matters
just play.
though. But it
No,
matters.
it does because from what the reason why is right. Like I was talking about this earlier before you joined the show is it's just as a fan you want to be hopeful. And like we've been covering this team now for a good 5 to 6 years. And I said this earlier, but like this is the lowest I've seen this fan base going into a season with Zion Williamson. And so like I'm just trying to breed in some like a little bit of hope, right? To where like even if I was a rep trying to sell tickets, I would pray for Zion to just post some type of video of him working out or whatever, so that you generate interest in the team. You then sell tickets more. You sell it's just a positive thing when the face of your franchise is posting, workouts. Like everyone loves to see Trey Murphy back in the gym, right? Like Trey Murphy started posting more on social media, like, oh wow, his shoulder surgery must be going well. And then Herb Jones posts, right? And DeJounte Murray keeps posting that, oh well, he's working his way back, right? And so you're hopeful that he gets an earlier return. It's just stuff like that. It's just like it's optics, and it doesn't equate to wins, but at least it's hopeful. At least some positivity on the timeline.
Yeah,
my bad. Real quick, the longer I've been around, kind of covering the league and stuff, the more you see like the narratives that fans have in social media narratives, like actually affects the game. And it sounds crazy, but it does. It like leaks out into the floor, into the actual play of stuff. So yes, it matters if you post it and everything like that. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it just really revolves around Zion he has a really bad PR team. Like it doesn't make sense. Like he makes the wrong move outside of basketball all the time, no matter what it is. They can't cover it up. They can't do anything. They cannot negate it. I don't even know if he truly has a team, a PR team.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think about it, if you just take a step back, like what do they do? What have they stopped? I mean, there's some things that we know about that we probably shouldn't say, but truly, I don't think that's his PR team stopping it. I think that's more so like people just respecting it, like, we probably shouldn't say that. That has nothing to do with someone, in his camp, like reaching out, like, hey, yo, please, can you not say that? It's more so, us being who we are rather than, them doing what they're supposed to do. So I think he truly needs to rethink who he has behind him or who he has in front of him to, better his name.
To Five's point, I also think because you've seen him say it a couple times in the post game, like that year he came in, he was real stoic and serious for about 2 months. And it was like, all right, bro, like this is totally contrived. You're a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. You don't got to do this, bro. We know you feel disrespected, but you don't have to do this. And then, he said himself in the post game, like, I know people don't really rock with me. And me, as like a hip-hop person, I've seen it. I've seen it with 50 Cent. I've seen it with Lil Wayne. I've seen it with Drake now. Once people decide that they don't fuck with you like that, even if it's misplaced, if people decide, even for the moment, there was a point where like right now, there's no song Lil Wayne can put out that people are gonna be like, yeah. There's almost nothing Drake can do right now for people gonna be like, yeah, you gotta wait until it's over, until it passes, and then maybe it'll come full circle. But I think what Zion is at right now, he's at that point where he's again just like we kind of ran through the checklist before you got on, Shad. One I forgot to mention. I mentioned this on the last episode. So you got the dent in the floor. You got the wind sprints of the Saints facility. You got him working out in this medical kitchen looking thing, doing band work. Shout out to him. He played 70 games that year. So shout out to the kitchen. Right? You got it just always looks bad. It is
Kid photo.
Yeah, you got him playing at the park with the kids. You got it just I don't know, man. It just always look bad. Like, and I think he might be in his Michael Jackson era where it's just like, look, I don't do interviews no more. I'm just not a public person no more. I'm just in the tuck because it's just even shout out to Will Guillory, who writes for the Atlantic. He put out an article, and it's like the article never happened because no one really. Because now we live in more of a visual era, but it's like the article never happened when he was talking about him, working out during the off season, talking about like his day to day and his nutrition work and what has changed. But it's like, bro, if you don't, that year he played, what was it, last year he played like what, 20-some games, 30-some games? If you don't, to Rashad's point, if you don't stay on the court, I don't really care what you do. Like for me, I don't care what you do in the offseason if it's not translating to the court. You know what I'm saying? And I think to your point with LeBron, it don't matter LeBron working with the Clippers stuff now and not the Lakers. LeBron show up on the court. And with Zion, until you show up on that court consistently, the narrative will never change because you're an easy target.
So I want to great points by everybody here. I want to kind of get Rashad out of here at some point because we be up here hour and a half, 2 hours. Like this is just what we do. So we don't want to hold you up too much longer here, bro. But I do want to end up in here in closing. The most recent article was about an artist suing the Pelicans after he says the team stole from his artwork and social media posts. Allegedly. Now, I'm curious what the route that you got in regards to the information that that you received, or how it went behind the scenes for you to ultimately end up writing that article. Is this something that happens more than maybe the public knows? And if you want to kind of shout out the article and give us a little bit more details about it or your thoughts in totality, we definitely want to hear them.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, I forgot about that article until you mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, I did. But I think the main thing, it was like I just seen it on the internet, and then like once again I sent it to my sports editor. Yo, should we go with this? He said, yeah, reach out to the law firm. I reached out to the law firm. They gave me the full document. They said we don't have any comment on it. And then I just kind of ciphered through it. It is something. How do you say this? I think celebrities, they get sued a lot. We're just talking about Zion, but celebrities get sued a lot. So it is kind of something that is relatively common. However, I do think it's interesting that this happened. I don't know how the Pels thought they were going to get away with this. I don't know if they thought because it was just like the Instagram account, it would have flew under the radar or whatever. They might still be able to get away with it in court if they're just like, you don't own the idea of, did you create flattened basketballs? Like you didn't create flat. So I don't know if, how the actual case is going to go. But for them to kind of try to run with this, and even after Buddy sent a cease and desist last year, and he was like, hey, stop that. And they was just like, anyways, make sure you follow the Pelicans on Instagram. Like that was kind of wild to me. I thought they were bucking him. But I don't know, man. I don't know their thought process because it's like Buddy was working with the NBA. So it's like, who he is, where this came from. Why not just give Buddy his credit? Slide him a little couple $1,000s or whatever, just like Dan Gilbert did, just like the Detroit Pistons owner did, all those things. So I don't know.
Shout out to Tyrell, man. Justice for that's for Tyrell. I happen to reach out to OTW and OTW, man. And allegedly, from what the streets are saying, is all alleged. I have no evidence of this. This is a pattern. This is somewhat of a pattern with the organization allegedly. And I myself have been a quote unquote victim of said pattern.
I need to say this right now. While I'm on Pro Pels Talk. That's why it was so important for me to tag y'all, to let y'all, to shout y'all out by name, to shout out the pod, because so many people on large media platforms, if you got this type of reach, look, Justin posts every day, all day. You can act like you don't see it. You can act, we all got the same For You page in this state, in this city. Y'all can act like y'all don't see it, grab it, and then the Pelicans said this. Boy, you know you was not watching that summer league game in the third quarter of the interview. What Queen said you saw that from Justin Page when he posted it.
Talk to him.
To give people they credit when they put in the work and the hours for it, because this happened, like you say, same thing to me. So it's like now me and this side, man, yes, I'm a shout out folks. Yeah, I'm a shout out Boot Crew. Yeah, I'm a shout out other folks. Like, why am I not shouting them out? Man, you don't shout them out. That's man, look, these folks working hard. These folks, it's independent media, bro. They don't have no, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we shouted out the folks that just had the, commercial before I came on and stuff like that. But they don't have no millions of dollars behind them. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, why am I not shouting out folks that's putting in the work? Folks that's listening to ours. I ain't listening to no Bill Simmons podcast in August. I ain't listening to Bill Simmons podcast in April. I seen that from Preston. So it's like, so it's important that you shout out the folks that's putting in the work, bro. Because it's like, if not, you just stealing. And I don't steal because I don't want nobody to steal from me.
Quick question. I just need to know. Shy, you from Atlanta. Atlanta. What part of Atlanta you from? Also, Gucci or Jeezy? Who you picking? I just need to know those two things.
I grew up in a split household. So on my mom's side, I was in the suburbs on the north side in Cobb County, Marietta. And then on my dad's side, I was in the city, the SWATs, Southwest Atlanta, off of Cascade Road. Yeah. So, all right, Gucci or Jeezy?
Yeah.
I feel like for respect's sake, I got to go Gucci. Like, Gucci birthed a whole generation of rappers. Jeezy might have made better music, but Gucci, like, influence goes beyond, you know what I'm saying, music.
I appreciate that. Now
these are the kind of things. Shout out to Five for the question. Justin don't know what's going on right now, but that's okay. That's okay, man. Just
Shy still like Shy. Like I know more about Shy in that one answer than I would have known any other basketball question.
Hey,
that
man,
let me know. We're good.
That's love, man. So Rashad, man, we'll get you out of here, man. Let everybody know where they can follow you at, man. Appreciate all the love and the support. Same goes your way, but let everyone know where they can follow you at and what you got cooking up next.
Yeah, man. Just make sure y'all visit NOLA.com, read our stuff. We don't have a Pels beat writer still yet. That's crazy. But hopefully me calling them out publicly is going to put the pressure on them to hire somebody before next season. Rod Walker's been holding it down in the meantime. I've been stepping up where I can as well. So y'all make sure y'all support us, read our stuff. Excuse me, everything like that. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. I don't really tweet much, but I do tweet like during the season, kind of live tweeting when I'm at the game. So if you want to, you can. If you don't, that's cool. I don't care. Just read NOLA.com so I can keep it up. I appreciate y'all for having me, man.